For the first time, we are hearing from one of the Saanich police officers shot outside of a Bank of Montreal branch nearly 2 years ago. A constable was inside an emergency response team van that was peppered with gunfire from twin brothers who staged a robbery to lure police and kill them. CTV's Shannon Patterson has his harrowing story of survival and recovery.
Getting back in uniform was a big motivator for Saanich Police Constable Stephen Reichert.
I spent the majority of 10 months in a wheelchair. For now, I'm now just focused on getting back to what I can be and what my new normal is.
Reichert was shot in both legs and took another bullet to the arm 2 years ago during what was initially thought to be an armed robbery at this Bank of Montreal branch.
The information that we had was that the two suspects were inside. We had a number of civilians. So around that time of our arrival, the call was classified as a hostage taking.
Reichert and 6 other officers inside an emergency response team van arrived on scene just seconds before the 2 armed suspects exited the bank.
One of the suspects to the rear immediately turns towards us, and as he turns, he raises up his rifle. Suddenly, I felt a heavy impact to my left leg. That caused me to look down to my leg, and it was in that exact moment that I received another very heavy blow to my right leg.
He realized he'd been shot, and so had 5 of his fellow officers inside the van.
I'm now laying on my back in, a pool of blood, and to my left is one of my colleagues. I can tell that he's been critically injured. He's not able to communicate with me. We're staring face to face with each other, and immediately I knew that we were under fire.
Hearing the patrol supervisor say over the air that shots were fired and there were officers down. At that point in time froze for me for a few seconds.
As Reichert pulled out his tourniquet to try to stop the bleeding, the only ERT member who hadn't been shot exited the van.
He was engaging with the suspects, and that was a very huge moment for me, just feeling that he was taking a huge risk at essentially putting himself into a position to be able to provide myself cover and protection.
The suspects, twin brothers Matthew and Isaac Ochterlony, were shot and killed by police. It was later determined the robbery was just a ruse.
This bank robbery had a bigger motive to it, and that was to kill police officers, plain and simple.
The 6 officers who were hit by gunfire all survived, but Reichert's legs were torn apart by the bullets.
The round essentially vaporized about a 4-inch piece of my tibia bone.
Recovery has been long and difficult, but the constable has returned to work part-time.
At this point, that's working 2 days a week. Putting the uniform back on, which is honestly just another huge step in that recovery. It's another huge milestone for me.
Despite his injuries and the trauma he suffered that day,
I call this incident a success because we were able to achieve our ultimate goal, which was securing the hostages and protecting the innocent people.
Shannon Patterson, CTV News.